And the Beeville man who rammed into a barricade at the North Gate entrance at NAS Corpus Christi last month, pleading guilty today, admitting that he drove into it on purpose. 47-year-old Brian Dale Robinson has been charged with destruction of U.S. government property and possession of a stolen firearm. He went before a U.S. district judge today, admitting he intended to damage federal property. He was back on October 7th. Robinson stole a pickup truck from a Beeville gas station, driving all the way from Beeville to Corpus Christi, eventually crashing through the gate at the base. He was arrested shortly after, telling officials he had suicidal thoughts. Robinson is looking at a potential 10 years in federal prison and possible $250,000 fine.